Good evening, and welcome to the City of Temecula's first Housing Element Update virtual workshop. This presentation has been pre-recorded and will begin momentarily. After tonight's virtual workshop, the presentation will be available on the project website at www.temeculaca.gov/housing. If you have any questions, you will be able to submit them using the chat feature at the top of the Zoom meeting application at the end of the presentation. City of Temecula staff and the city's consultant team are available to respond to your questions in real time. Thank you for joining us tonight. Beginning in late 2019, the City of Temecula embarked on an update to our housing element. Brandon Rabideau, an associate planner with the city, is your primary point of contact at City Hall for this project. Brandon can be reached at 951-506-5142 or via his email address at brandonrabideau, brandon.rabidou at temeculaca.gov. The City of Temecula is supported by the De Novo Planning Group, a land use and environmental planning firm with experience assisting cities throughout California with updates to their housing elements. We are currently in the second phase of our work program, which includes evaluating existing conditions, reviewing existing plans and programs, and hosting this virtual workshop. Over the course of the next 12 months, our team will be preparing a draft housing element, facilitating a series of public hearings, and working with the state of California to receive approval of our project. Throughout this time, we will be working with the community and key stakeholders to address the unique housing opportunities and challenges facing Temecula. Your input is an important part of our work and will directly impact the city's approach to planning for our community's housing needs. The next section of this presentation includes a brief overview video which will describe what a housing element is and why it is important.
What is a housing element? Cities throughout the state and country have a blueprint for their community. This blueprint is called a general plan. A general plan covers various topics for a community, and each different topic is called an element of the general plan. Elements of a general plan include information on where future roads will go, where open space belongs, and how to handle housing in a community. The housing element is a section of the city's general plan that looks at housing needs and conditions within the city. It is a policy document that identifies goals, policies, and programs that cities use to direct and guide actions related to housing. Each city and county in California is required to have a housing element and update it periodically, usually every 8 years. As the population of California continues to grow, so too does the need for more housing. But housing development has not kept up with demand. It is estimated that California has a shortage of over 3.5 million homes. And what housing is available in a city may not necessarily be affordable for people who work there, which is one reason why people might live in one city and work in another, even if that means they have a long commute. What does this mean to you? If you have kids and they grow up and want to return to the area, they may have to move back home or live in a different community much farther away. If you are a business and you want to attract or relocate talent, you may have a difficult time doing so. If you are going to college, getting a technical education, or entering the workforce, you may end up paying too much for rent, which limits your ability to pay off debt, save for a house, or even make ends meet. If you are in a community that is trying to attract new jobs or employers, you may be at a significant disadvantage. If you are a senior or a person with a fixed income, rising rents and the lack of options could displace you or a loved from a place you have always called home. To address this shortage, the state requires that every city and county must help accommodate a portion of new housing growth. Because people often live and work in different places, housing needs are assessed at a regional level based on population trends and other factors to determine how much growth each local jurisdiction will need to accommodate. This is called the Regional Housing Needs Allocation, or RHNA for short. Cities are not responsible for building housing. That is the job of the private market and developers. However, cities must show that there is enough land zoned for housing to accommodate their share of new homes. Furthermore, they must place special focus on planning for affordable housing. Our city has begun preparing an update to our housing element. This effort begins by understanding current conditions, which involves looking at the housing needs of all residents, including seniors, people with disabilities, and people experiencing homelessness. We then look at our existing housing stock to determine how well our existing housing meets the needs of current and future residents. Will the city have enough homes for the new residents that are moving here? Does it have the right mix of home sizes and types, from starter homes to senior housing? Does it have homes in a variety of price ranges? Can individuals working within the city afford to live here? Once we know what already exists, we need to understand what obstacles are preventing new housing from being built. The housing element identifies obstacles such as land and development costs, government regulations, and environmental constraints like seismic hazards. It also addresses fair housing and tries to understand if there are issues related to housing discrimination. Finally, we look at the resources available for the development and preservation of housing, such as grant funding for affordable housing developers and other financial programs, and most critically, land available for new development. Because many cities in California no longer have lots of vacant land left, they've had to plan for residential growth in other ways, such as allowing mixed-use development. This update to our housing element allows us to carefully plan for the housing needs of our current and future residents. Working together, we can help make a difference in addressing our region's housing objectives and help ensure that residents have a safe and affordable place to call home.
The City of Temecula is excited to engage the community in a discussion about your housing priorities while adhering to all public health and safety measures. The project website, www.temeculaca.gov/housing, is your primary resource for up-to-date project information and materials. If you haven't done so already, we encourage you to take our survey, which is available on the website and in hard copy at the Senior Center. Emails have also been sent to the stakeholders to solicit their input. And tonight you are participating in our first virtual workshop, which is being hosted in both English and Spanish. The city has also advertised the project to the community through newsletters, social media posts, emails to our partner organizations, a spot on Channel 3, and flyers at local facilities. We will continue to include you in the process as draft material is prepared and available for your consideration and comment. Tonight's presentation is largely focused on planning for the future of housing in Temecula. As described in the video, our housing element is the city's plan for meeting our fair share of regional housing needs as determined by the state of California for a specific planning period, in this case from 2021 through 2029. After the state tells the region how much housing it is responsible for accommodating, our regional agency, the Southern California Association of Governments, or SCAG, distributes the regional need to local agencies like the City of Temecula. As part of this process, SCAG looks at things like population trends, household income, home prices, and commute patterns to decide how much housing each city needs to plan for. From 2000 through 2018, Temecula doubled in size from a population of 57,000 in 2000 to a population of 113,000 in 2018. With an average annual growth rate of 3.8% during this time, our community has grown at a faster rate than the rest of Riverside County, which experienced an annual growth rate of 0.5% during this same time period. As vacant land in Temecula becomes more limited, we have seen our population growth slow down, but we continue to add new residents every year. Most of Temecula's residents are homeowners, and we have a lower percentage of renters when compared to the rest of the SCAG region. However, our newer residents, especially those that have moved to the community within the past 10 years, are much more likely to be renters than homeowners. This trend may indicate that younger families or working professionals moving to the community may have a harder time purchasing a home right away, and rental homes provide them the best opportunity to live in Temecula. Since 2000, Temecula has added a variety of different types of housing to its housing stock. Most of these new units have been single-family homes, but Temecula has also seen new multi-family homes and mobile homes. The chart on the screen shows a comparison on home types between the city of Temecula and the rest of the SCAG region. Temecula, as shown in the blue bar, has a higher proportion of single-family detached homes than the region as a whole, and a smaller proportion of all other home types. Temecula has an average vacancy rate of 5.6% across all types of housing, which is typical for communities in Southern California. Of the homes that are vacant, most are for rent but just not yet occupied, indicating a strong housing market in Temecula. Some of the vacant units are considered seasonal homes, which represent second homes for people not living in the community full time. The median home price in Temecula is approximately $500,000. Home prices in our community have risen steadily since 2012 and are approximately 22% higher than the rest of Riverside County, although home prices in both the city and county have experienced similar increases over time. Based on standard home loan ratios and practices, a household will need to make approximately $125,000 per year, or a combined income of around $62 an hour, to afford our median home price. Over time, it has become more expensive to own a home in Temecula. In 2011, the median home price was $312,000. After adjusting for inflation, a household would have needed to earn an income of approximately $97,000 to afford the median home price at that time. In other words, households need to earn more now than they did 10 years ago in order to afford the average home in Temecula. In 2020, the average rent for an apartment in Temecula is $2,011, which is a 14% increase over the average rent for an apartment this time last year. Rents have been increasing for all unit sizes, and current rents are approaching the highest levels in 10 years. The cost of owning or renting a home in Temecula is significant. Over 25% of households in Temecula spend more than half of their income on housing. In standard practice, financial institutions would expect households to spend approximately a third of their income on housing. This indicates that many households in Temecula, like households throughout Southern California, experience significant cost burdens associated with housing costs. As described earlier in the presentation, Temecula receives its Regional Housing Needs Allocation, RHNA, from SCAG, and the city must show that there is enough land zoned in our community to accommodate our RHNA. In addition, our RHNA, the total number of units we need to accommodate, is actually broken down into the annual income affordability levels, which specify how many units need to be designated for each income level based on how the household income relates to the area median income, or AMI, which for Riverside County is $75,300. For a family of four, the categories and their associated income levels include very low income, which is up to 50% of the AMI, or an income of up to $37,650 per year. Low income, which is between 51% and 80% of the AMI, or up to $60,250 per year. Moderate income, which is between 81% and 120% of the AMI, or up to $90,350 per year. And above moderate income for households earning more than 120% of the AMI, or more than $90,350 per year. For the 2021 through 2029 planning period, Temecula's state-mandated RHNA is 4,183 units. The breakdown by income category is shown on the screen. Approximately half of the city's RHNA is dedicated to very low or low-income households, and the other half dedicated to moderate or above moderate income households. So what types of housing are available to meet our community's needs? First and foremost, the city of Temecula itself does not build housing. As described in the video, this is the job of the private market. However, Temecula sets the stage for housing developers to build housing in our community that is consistent with the city's general plan, including our housing element, our zoning ordinance, and other planning documents like specific plans. While the city does not build housing, public funds might be used as an incentive to adopt affordable housing restrictions on private development, typically for a period of 55 years. Homes come in lots of different shapes and sizes, and you've probably lived in different types of homes yourself over the years. Different people and lifestyles are attracted to different types of homes, and communities that offer a lot of housing choices can help a person or family find the right fit based on their unique needs. In addition, in order for Temecula to attract valuable employers, the city needs to have a variety of housing options suitable for a variety of people and income levels. This diversity in our housing stock can help regional employers feel confident that their workers can live reasonably close to their jobs. Some different types of housing choices are shown on the screen. Small units like accessory dwelling units can allow for multi-generational living, or small income-generating properties to coexist in existing neighborhoods. Duplexes, single-family homes, and multifamily homes will appeal to different people at different times of their lives. And mixed-use development, where housing is located in the same building or next to other uses like shopping, dining, and office space, can help create more vibrant living environments. Moreover, whether a housing project is market rate or affordable to lower income levels, good building design and landscaping can help the developments blend well into the community. While the city has embarked on an update to our housing element as required by the state of California, we have been working hard for a long time to address the unique housing needs of our community. Since 2000, the private sector has been building fewer homes in Temecula as vacant land becomes more limited. This is in line with regional trends. Single-family homes are still the most dominant new development type in Temecula, but multifamily homes have started to represent a larger percentage of new development in our community. So what has the city done to address our housing needs in past planning periods? The city's current housing element was adopted in December 2013 and guided the city during the planning period from 2014 through 2021. Our RH&A for the previous cycle was approximately 1,500 units, less than half of our new allocation. In order to meet our housing needs in the past planning period, the city considered the development potential of different types of vacant sites, along with areas where redevelopment or mixed-use development might be suitable. By looking at these types of sites, the city identified a surplus of development potential. As part of this update, we will be looking at those sites again to see if they continue to be desirable locations for new development, along with new sites in order to accommodate our new RH&A of 4,183 units. Looking forward over the next 12 months, the city will be preparing the draft housing element for public review and consideration by our Planning Commission and City Council. We appreciate you joining us for tonight's virtual workshop and encourage you to visit www.temeculaca.gov/housing to complete our online survey and share your feedback on housing in the City of Temecula. If you have any questions for our City of Temecula staff or our consultant team, please type them in the chat function at the top of the Zoom meeting application. Or you can email them to Brandon Rabidou, BRANDON.RABIDOU @temeculaca.gov. We will do our best to respond to the questions via the chat feature in real time. We will also summarize the questions we receive in the English language and Spanish language virtual workshops, and the summary will be posted to the website. Thank you.